Good morning on this Monday. I'm Nikki Stanzian.
And I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
And this is New Mexico Style. Welcome back, Kristen.
Yeah, good to be back. It's been a while. I had vacation, and I did the evening shift, and now...
That shift really shifts your whole life, doesn't it? Going from nights to this early in the morning.
I was all well rested, wide awake, doing well, and this morning,
like,
no
what?
sleep, none. No. I did the whole, like, close your eyes.
Yeah.
You never fall asleep ever.
It's the worst. It is the worst. And I forgot to reset my alarm from the weekend. I had it set for like 11.
Uh-oh.
I know, that's really
Well, you
rough.
made it.
I made it. I had my head clock. It worked. Thank goodness. Now, I have to mention that today is Hug Your Cat Day.
Oh.
That's what it is today, yes.
Hug Your Cat Day.
Yes.
Aww. Well, give your little kitty a hug. If you don't own a cat, then you can adopt a cat because it's Adopt a Month. Adopt a Cat Month this month too, so.
Yeah, Kenny Hatchett actually told us Friday that there are 900 cats and dogs in Albuquerque shelters that are needing a forever home. So if you want a cat or a dog, it's a good time to do it. But today especially is a good day to open your heart and your home to a little kitty. So if that's what you flavor, that's what you should savor.
Yes, if your cat lets you hug it. Because you know how they are. They're so independent, cats are. Dogs always want hugs. So, but whenever a cat lets you hug it, I think it's special. Right. Because they're so independent.
They are very independent. Very good point. Very good point. I'll tell you what, speaking of independence, there are a lot of chefs in this town that have their very own special independence because they make their very own special ingredients and they make their very own special recipes, and they got to really battle it out yesterday when the oven mitts came off yesterday at the Albuquerque Convention Center. It was actually very exciting. 8 of the Duke City's most well-known chefs battled it out Iron Chef style. The chefs actually had to prepare food based on secret ingredients, and they were judged by a panel that included Mayor R.J. Berry and somebody named me.
Such a fun event.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, and this year's winner was a first-time competitor, Casey Bauer, at the Artichoke Cafe, great restaurant. And the proceeds, of course, from the event go to the Storehouse Food Pantry. I got to judge last year. Awesome food. What'd you think of it, Nikki?
It was great. Well, there's our friend Mark Quinones, and he's from Bien Shore. I didn't get to judge Mark, although I probably would have been a little bit biased.
Partial,
I actually got to judge La Provence, who's been on the show, and I'll tell you what, they made this little, it was called, I think, the Petite Cuisine. There are 2 ingredients that they had to incorporate, because that's the whole point. They have to incorporate these random ingredients. One was blueberries and one was sour cream. Now, I'm not a sour cream fan, but they actually did such a good job with it that I didn't even realize I wasn't a fan, if that makes sense. But the blueberries, they made like this amazing tenderloin with blueberry and salad, and they incorporated everything. I mean, it was amazing to me because I'm not a chef. I think it's so cool to see that. I don't know how
they do it. They just have it's like, okay, here are your ingredients, go. And they make it happen in that short little time frame with these random ingredients, which
isn't that cool?
I remember last year it was like peanut butter and like sour cream and pumpkin, or I can't even remember. It was like chocolate and peanut. It was just a weird, and pork chop or something like that.
It's amazing how they do it.
It was like this weird combo, but they make it work, and they make it delicious.
And Albuquerque, the magazine, really put on a great event. Lots of people were there. A lot of our friends from our show. Vernon's was there with a VIP tent. I saw Miles was actually emceeing it, Miles Copeland. And yeah, it was just overall a great event. So it's fun to support all the local chefs. This was the big ticket to have, and I had the ticket. It was great. It was fun. So, you know, that's one thing. And also, I was actually so guilty for eating, and I really didn't eat that much, but I felt like it was heavy food, that I actually went home and worked out for an hour. I was so proud of myself. Yeah, so the knockout inspired a workout.
Oh, gotta love it when that happens.
Gotta get back on track. And speaking of getting on track, let's check in with KRQE News 13 anchor Elizabeth Alvarez with this morning's headlines. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Hey, good morning, ladies. Happy Monday. Glad you guys enjoyed the weekend. Good morning to you at home. We begin this morning talking about Johnny Tapia. It was a packed pit last night for Johnny Tapia's memorial service. 6,800 people showed up to honor the legendary boxer who died a week ago. They waited outside the doors to open to see the 45-year-old. People actually started lining up early in the morning yesterday. When the doors finally opened at 6:30 in the evening, the crowds just poured in, chanting his name. The body of the 5-time world champion laid inside a closed casket, which sat in a boxing ring at center court. Everyone got a chance to walk by and pay their final respects. A handful of speakers spoke to the crowd, sharing fond memories they had of Tapia, including our own News 13 sports director, Van Tate. Al Hurricane Sr. also performed, and Albuquerque Mayor R.J. Berry shared a story about playing basketball with Tapia back in the 80s.
We go to Rio Grande High School and we play basketball with Johnny, and all I can remember was running down the court and Johnny running down with me, except he was running circles around me while we were running down the floor.
Other boxing greats such as Oscar De La Hoya and Mike Tyson gave their condolences through a video message.
He was just always a wonderful guy with so much energy, man. He would non-stop, man, and he was just a wonderful person.
Well, that was for sure. And there was a private memorial for family and close friends earlier in the day. By the way, the Tapia family did pay for last night's memorial service. And we still don't know how Johnny Tapia died. The police report says that Tapia had been complaining of stomach pains the day before his death and a few hours before his body was found in his bedroom a week ago. Police also say that they found a bottle of Pepto-Bismol near Johnny and a small yellow pill near his feet. Now, it could take 2 months or possibly more for toxicology test results to come back. Of course, we'll keep you posted on that. A filmmaker and his wife accused of swindling investors out of $500,000 are set to face a judge today. Michael Jacobs and Ruby Handler Jacobs are accused of telling at least 16 investors that they were building a movie studio, a baseball stadium, and an amusement park right here in New Mexico. Now, at the time, the couple owned Rio Grande Studios and it was underwater. Detectives say the two were taking money from investors and using it to pay their bills. Switching gears just a little bit now, the biggest wildfire in New Mexico history just keeps on getting bigger this morning. The Whitewater Baldy Complex fire has now grown to more than 241,000 acres. Yesterday, firefighters kept a close eye on the fire. They had to mop up a few hot spots here and there, and they did create more fire lines to help contain it. The sheriff's office will lift the evacuation notice for people living in Mogollon later today, and it should be open to the public on Wednesday. The massive wildfire is now only 17% contained. At least a little progress is being made there. All right, so take a look at this guy here. A guy in Florida got an eyeful looking out his backyard and when he saw a bobcat. So he ran to go get his camera, came back, and then saw something else. Yeah, a 10-foot-long gator from Florida. As Brian Peabody snapped these pictures, the gator gracefully and silently got close to the bobcat, but it's okay because the bobcat was able to get away, and it turned out to be a lucky day for both that bobcat and that backyard photographer. Pretty brave, I tell you. I lived in Florida 6 years, and let me tell you, when you see an alligator, I don't care how long you've lived there, you are gonna run, okay?
Yeah.
I know, ladies.
Not a fan of alligators.
Both of you have experience with that, I know.
Yeah. And I get creeped out by like the little mini iguanas, so that'll tell you how I'd be with an alligator.
And then, you know what? He caught a great picture, so hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just still can't believe how he was able to sneak up like that on the I mean, cat, you know, they're usually like pretty, like you can't sneak up on a cat.
Yeah, they usually take off really quick, right?
Yeah. He got really close.
That was scary. Well, luckily it didn't happen to any of us, or the picture would have been a little different.
Right, I know. Probably wouldn't have showed it, actually.
Exactly. Too many explicitives flying out in the little captions over the bubble.
Have a good Monday.
Thanks, Elizabeth. All right, turning gears a little bit. Some sad news out of Hollywood this morning. Popular game show host and actor Richard Dawson died Saturday from complications of esophageal cancer, and he was 79 years old.
Dawson starred in the 1960s television show Hogan's Heroes, but he's best known as the host of the original Family Feud. Dawson hosted Feud for nearly a decade, making him the highest paid game show host of his day.
And he was known for those kisses because every time he met a new contestant in a family, he'd lean over and give her a kiss, especially the pretty ones. Sometimes he'd kiss them twice. So that was really his thing. I mean, we've obviously seen a lot of other people hosting Family Feud over the years, and but you know, when you think about Family Feud, to me, it always is Richard Dawson.
Of course.
He was amazing, and of course you can see him in Hogan's Heroes, as we said. That was his first acting gig, and that's where he really started out. In fact, you know, he was also, when he was on Hogan's Heroes, he was featured a lot on Match Game, on that game show as a contestant, because they would have those celebrity guests all the time back in the day.
And then he ended up kind of flipping it around and hosting the game shows after that.
Exactly. I'll tell you what, it is fun to host a game show. I have hosted one.
Yes, you have.
It is a blast because there's nothing like giving away money to people, and
people get
it doesn't
crazy.
come out of your own pocket. And they're like, like, thank you so much, you've changed my life. And I'm like, thank you, producers, because I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Well, the Hunger Games won 4 MTV Movie Awards on Sunday, but the award for the best movie went to The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Which you love, right? You love the Twilight series. And it is the popular movie series' 4th consecutive Golden Popcorn win in the Best Movie category. Stars Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, also winning Best Kiss, earlier in the night. They always win. This was their 4th time.
We really have so many people to thank, not only for this award, but for the past few years. It's been amazing. But first and foremost, we have to thank you guys, our amazing, loyal, and dedicated fans.
It was a good night. In fact, Jennifer Aniston, funny enough, you know, she won Best Dirtbag. Now, she was making a joke of it, of course. She's like, oh, God, you know, I didn't know I was a dirtbag, but okay, I guess I'm a dirtbag, and I wasn't a dirtbag on Friends, and she was doing that whole thing, and it was a very odd award. Other ones, what else?
From Horrible Bosses, right?
Yes, exactly. And Best Music, LMFAO's Party Rock Anthem, and 21 Jump Street, and what's another good one? Let's see. Oh, Best Comedic Performance went to Melissa McCarthy from Bridesmaids. She's hilarious. But you know, the surprise of the night, apparently, I missed this because I was watching Miss USA, but I taped it. Apparently, the best part of the night was Johnny Depp got up and performed with the Black Keys.
I love the Black Keys. And Johnny Depp. I missed that. I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
Well, you know, the thing about Johnny Depp is that a lot of people don't realize that he is a guitar enthusiast. In fact, we talked with Mayor Barry last week about Albuquerque and all the wonderful things in Nob Hill. One of those things was the store, it's a guitar shop called Rumble Seat, and it is an amazing guitar shop. And the owner had told me, you missed Johnny Depp by like a day. He was here for 3 hours yesterday. I'm like, what? Yes. Johnny Depp, I missed him by a day? Yeah, he spent 3 hours in our local guitar shop. So just so you know, I think that's kind of cool, little tie-in to Albuquerque. Isn't that cool?
Of course.
Yeah. Now, I said that I only watched some of the awards because I watched something else for the rest of the night. This morning, there is a brand new Miss USA.
Miss USA 2012, Rhode Island!
God, look at that face. She's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Miss Rhode Island, 20-year-old Olivia Culpo beat out the competition.
Right. Miss Maryland was the first runner-up. Culpo is a cellist who answered a question about transgender contestants by saying it would be fair for a man who became a woman to be named Miss Universe. You know, there was that whole controversy after Miss Canada.
Yes.
Trying to go to Miss Universe and all that stuff. So interesting.
Yeah, and that was actually the viewer's question, and she did answer it quite well, and the audience response was insane. So I had a feeling she'd do really well. I have to tell you, know how I am with Idol, where I'm always like making my list of what I think. So I have this whole process with Miss USA. So when the show starts and they come out and they do their whole dance at the beginning, I write down just random names that I think are going to go far, right? So I picked 9 out of the 16, and just out of just picking. Then we picked the top. Then we picked the top 10. I got 8 out of 10, and then I picked the top winner, and I was right about the winner and Miss Maryland being runner-up. The only thing I was disappointed in was, well, not disappointed, I shouldn't say, but my best friend who I grew up with, her cousin was Miss New Jersey, Michelle. This is her cousin. So this is my best friend's cousin. And she has been talking about it, and she made it to top 10. So yay, Miss New Jersey! I'm so happy.
That is so cool.
Isn't that cool?
I grew up with my mom. Like we would watch it every year.
Yeah.
And we'd do the little score sheet. And I would write down a score for everybody. But that was a long time ago.
It was a blast. It was a blast.
Well, if the skinny girls make you want to hit the gym, there's a new study that says too much exercise could be a bad thing.
Oh, I like this research. The research says people who do a lot of marathons, Ironman triathlons, and long-distance bicycle races may change how their heart beats and do a lot of damage to it, in fact. If you remember back in March, legendary ultramarathon runner Micah True died when he went out on a regular run in the Gila wilderness, and that was a pretty shocking story because he was somebody who was so in shape.
Yeah, it's
Did I say the Gila? I meant the Gila. I'm sorry. It's Monday.
It's surprising because you think like, oh, these are the people who are in the best shape ever. But sometimes because they are in such good shape that they don't, keep a check on things with their heart rate, and you're using your heart so much that sometimes there can be some issues, and then it can be surprising when it happens.
What was the one that you just did? The crazy one in the mud?
Warrior Dash.
Okay, that would be scary to me.
I got mud volleyball next weekend.
Oh my God, that sounds fun though.
Yeah,
we'll have to talk more about that later this week. That sounds fun. Is the weather going to hold up for that, or is it going to be hot?
It's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Perfect for playing in the mud, I guess. So first, before we get to the weather, though, I wanted to show you this picture. This is from our roof cam this morning. And if you know, we have a full moon today, but it's not full.
It's
because
pretty.
It's a partial eclipse.
Oh, is that what that is?
This morning, yeah, it was so pretty. It's called Strawberry Moon. It's or known as Strawberry Moon for the full moon, the first full moon in June. June is the month when you harvest the strawberries. So it's called. And then whenever it was setting, it actually took on that pinkish color.
Oh, that's
so it kind of looked like a
cool.
strawberry with a chunk taken out of it.
I love that.
Because of
That's
the
very
eclipse. It was
cool.
really pretty this morning. And so we have one more thing happening tomorrow. We have the transit of Venus. That's around 4 o'clock-ish. So
Okay.